Thank you so much for the wonderful camp that we've had. Thank you for the children who managed to be here. And even those who didn't manage to be here, Jehovah Lord, and they really wished to be here, may you, in a very special way, reach out to them so that next year, as we have already started organizing for it, they manage to be here. Thank you so much for our facilitators. Thank you so much for our parents. Thank you so much for the staff of Goldfields School. In a very big way, we sat and organized on how to do 1, 2, 3. Jehovah Lord, it has come out the exact way we wanted it to come out.
Everybody, plaisir, bienvenue tout le monde. D'accord? Bonjour à tous. Bonjour tout le monde. Comment ça va? Comment allez-vous? Je vais très contente aujourd'hui.
Talk to us. Do you want to talk? Do you want to talk about this and we see how to help each other? Do you want to be well? Do you want your life to change? Do you want the situation to change? What is it? What is the matter? Can we talk about it?
My expectation personally was to have that after this camp is over, the child should be able to remember all the teaching so that when the child is in class, she or he is not just an academic, but an upright, an integral person. So we are not just seeing them as campers or as a learner, but now they also become a personality, whereby people can now look at this child and say, this is how I would like my child to be. What is this that we would point and say, I would like my child to be like this? Things like having a child who knows the Word of God. Nowadays, our children are glued on TV. Cocomelon, dun, 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 and they're happy with all that. Good teachings of academics and all that, but no child, even in church, we take them to church. Our children go to church, of course, but they want to play with their mates. Can we have a child who is self-driven and they know it is time for the Word of God and this is what is required at this time? So I'm expecting to see that change in the children as well. As I was again expecting to see a child who knows that they need to keep clean. You know, the general grooming of a person. Because here we've been training them, wake up, clear, you come for aerobics and then exercises, blah, 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 then clean your own bed. We even have cleaning time. Can this child be able to do this when they have gone home after the camp? For me, that will be a very big achievement. The child goes back home, they wake themselves up, they spread their own bed before their parents or aunties or guardians tell them to do so.
Abanek's death row inmate. I was locked up at the age of 21, and I spent all my youth, a period of 24 years in prison, 14 years of those on death row. Spent there more years than I'd spent on the outside world. This was a result of living a life of rebellion, decadence, disobedience from an early age of around 12 or 13. I was disobedient to my parents, to my teachers. I didn't take life seriously. I was just going out doing what I wanted, following my own wishes and desires. I didn't know that these things can grow and grow and grow. From telling lies, you start stealing. You move on to bigger and bigger things, as a result of which you end up in prison. When I got into prison, it was a life I never expected. It's where I realized the advantages that I had and I hadn't taken advantage of. It's when I saw people who were in a worse situation than I was actually blessed to be where I had been before. I had time to think, I had time to reflect. On death row, you don't know which day is going to be your last. You're just thinking, you have so much that you want to pour out, you had to. I left a child outside when he was 6 months old. There's so much I wanted to tell him because he was growing up, he was now a young man. But I had no way of doing so. I tried to write a book then, but I couldn't do it, I failed. By the grace of God, I was released and I got a chance to make my dream come true. My dream was just to get something good from all the bad that I had been through. To go out and help young people, to see if I could manage to help even one person not take the path that I took. to be okay, that one would be something that would be a real blessing for me. I was arrested. And arrested for what? A very, very terrible case. Altogether. It was involving a robbery of cars, involving murder here and there. I ended up in prison at a very young age. I was 20, actually I think I turned 21 from the prison itself. Altogether, a few years older than some of you who are inside here. I was not honest. Nobody could trust any word I was saying. I was not disciplined. I was not serious on my studies. I was not seeing any end. And telling lies, these things of the devil, once you start on something small, it does not stop there. It continues growing. After telling lies, you start stealing. Are we together? And stealing still increases in level. You know, there's a difference between a liar and a thief is opportunity. If somebody tells you lies today, you know that person can steal from you tomorrow. I was telling people how I used to steal bulbs at home when I have no money for cigarettes or alcohol. I come home, I pull out a bulb which is working, I put in a dead one. I had my stock of dead ones. So I come, Mommy, the bulb is dead, now we need another one. Says, yeah, okay. Gives money, you go and buy a bulb. Nakamata pesa, I go and nunua sigara, nunua bangi, nunua pombe. I come back and fix the one which I had pulled out, and it's okay. There's no, I don't want you to start doing that when you go home. I've had the chance of interacting with students of Goldfields School in Migori, Kenya. It has been a very interesting week, very lovely interaction. We've asked questions, we've discussed different topics that really touch these young people at a young age, and I believe that they've been greatly blessed, and I too have been greatly blessed.
First, ask yourself, because it will require individual reflection. The biggest thing is also, what is this problem? How is it costing you? Could you reflect, or how will it cost you towards achieving what you want to achieve? Or how has it already costed you? You know, sometimes we've already seen the impact or consequence of whatever it is. Because sometimes starting from there helps you see the why, you know. Because for you to work out anything well, you first have to understand, why is it important that I stop this? We have a generation where children, really whatever they do is based on what other people do. It could be based on what they see on social media, based on what they see from friends, based on what they see from multiple places that they go to. But do they know who they really are? So through this program, they are able to know, who am I? What are my strengths? What are my natural abilities, natural talents that I can capitalize so that I can contribute to the nation, so that I can even contribute to my fellow teenagers and preteens? We want them to have this sense that each of them is unique, each of them is talented differently, but together they make up something meaningful. Together they make up something beautiful, so that they are able to celebrate their differences. Instead of seeing these differences as something to be ashamed of, as something that is really not good, they're able to celebrate these differences. And by default, this is preparing them for this journey of life.
For children, I can say, I know they have benefited a lot. As parents, I know sometimes we are too busy for our kids. We are sorry for that. You know, it should not be that way. But again, you know, as we are working, you know, some parents are working outside their homes. You find that most of the times the kids are remaining with the house helps. And you know, like, they don't get that chance to share whatever they're facing, or we don't get chance as parents to teach our children on what they should experience in life, and also on how they should face life whenever they face those challenges. But I know from what our children have learned here, I know they have got a lot of information on how they should handle some experiences in life and on how to overcome them. One thing I liked most about the camp is the experience of one of our mentors who was in prison and who has wrote a book, the title kind of Living in Life. So through his experience and the teachings he has been giving us, I can say in life, let's stop making conclusions on what we are facing. Let's not make conclusions on what we are facing. You know, you might think you are the one who is so much stressed. You might think what someone is saying about you, that's what you are, but that's not the case. If someone says something negative about you, don't keep it to yourself. Try to maybe to share with one of your friends or someone you trust or someone who is older than you. Then from there, you can get to understand better about yourself or whatever experience you are facing in life. Yeah, and it can help you to make the right decision in life.
Here in the morning aerobics, I love exercising, but I don't exercise at home. Came here, exercise, I feel so fit, I could run the whole field. Morning devotion. At home we do devotion, but sometimes we forget. But here, I think I'll be more responsible and be doing these activities almost like every day. Yeah. And from this camp, I learned that I should learn how to say no to things that I don't want to listen to. I should say no to the things that are not acceptable and things that are not right for me. I need to accept that things can be really hard sometimes, but I can get through it. I believe in myself. I need to be more honest, believe in others, trust others. Need to help those who can't help themselves.
I've learned a lot of lessons from the facilitators mostly. First of all, I've learned to hold on the values that I've been taught by my parents and my teachers. For example, Mr. Shadrach, he has been telling us on how values are important, and if we lose the values we have, like honesty, respect, obedience, like we lose our way and we will be led to a wrong path. So I've learned to always follow the values that have been taught by my parents and my teachers. And Madam Elizabeth, the director, she has encouraged me. Like I also wanted to become a doctor. Now I can pursue my dream, and she has taught me on how to go on with my way and how I'll make it in life. And Madam Agatha has also encouraged me. She talked to me one-on-one. She was kind of mentoring me. She told me that I can make it to where I want to go. If I want to become a doctor, I can, and I should not just be wanting to become a doctor, but I should pursue to become the best doctor, not in my county, but in the whole world. So I've learned a lot.
I've learned so many things in the camp. I've enjoyed it actually. I've made new friends. I've learned to interact with my peers. And most of all, I've learned a lot of things from the teachings we have been given. About the teachings, first of all, I'd like to talk about the first topic actually, that we were taught by beginning the end in mind. According to me, I enjoyed it because according to my performance, I think I've not been doing what the topic was saying. I just go to school, but I didn't put an effort in my studies because I didn't have the end in mind. I believe that from now on, I start practicing, like revising for my exams, having the end in mind so that I may succeed and become an aeronautical engineer in future.
Towards my values, yesterday I said that I'm not patient. That is my attitude, but I don't know how to cope with it. Now I need to change my attitude. How should I change? What should I do to change my attitude? Recently, I was enrolled in how to be patient with my actions. I've learned so many things. We recently went to the forest as a challenge. We went to the airstrip, learning about aviation. The forest, we learned about following rules and trusting the rope as a guide in our life. Towards the people who have not enrolled in this camp, we are really sorry, but maybe you could have tried to come. You have tried so many amazing things. We've played, we've been mentored, we eat so many good foods. The values are going to impact on me since I learned to follow the rope as a guide, and enrolling on the rope as a guide, it can help me achieve my success and help me set my goals clearly. Also, the rope, if you let go of the rope, is like you're not having self-control over your actions. So we should always follow instructions when given. That is the rope in which, or maybe we can get lost and maybe injure ourselves or have bad characters.
What I just captured today that I will never forget in the counselings, that nothing that you like now and you will like it even in front of you, because like the counselor told me that if you love girls, in front of you there are girls that will come more than the ones that you have now. Now just agree with your age. It is just something that comes and passes. That's what I just learned today.
God has blessed me to be in this camp meeting, and I'm very happy and have learned a lot. Communication is the best. We should communicate to others so that you can learn more. Like we had a challenge, a comfort zone challenge. What I learned that the rope was like the right way to follow. And the challenges were too much and some were tired. It's just like life. Like when you're about to reach at the end, you are tired and you follow the wrong direction. So it was just like there were thorns, everything was there, holes, stones, you'll fall, some would go back, come, like we struggled. Yeah, it was hard, some cried, but that's how life is sometimes. We must just learn to persevere. Yeah, so it was done. When it was done, people were happy, yeah. But in there, it wasn't that good. What I learned again is that in life, we must learn how to encourage each other, and we must learn how to love each other.
Leo tumekuwa na shindano na mchezo wa kutembea katika nyika, na kwenye nyika kulikuwa na milima, kulikuwa na mabonde, vile vile kulikuwa na mawe, na usisahau kulikuwa na miba. Na unapopitia katika miba, ukiangalia miguu yangu kuna kudungwa, kwenye uso kuna kukwaruzwa, na ukiangalia nguo pia vile vile ni chafu. Kwa hivyo kupitia na hayo tumepitia kwenye msitu, inatuonyesha kwamba katika maisha hakuna mteremko. Kuna kupanda, kuna kushuka. Na ili tuweze kuwa tumefanikiwa katika maisha, lazima tuwe na tumaini na lengo. Na tukifanya hivyo, tutakuwa washindi katika yote.
We had a lot of rocks, thorns, and it was very bushy. But at long last, we did it and we performed it well. What I learned from that hike is that we need a friend, because for me, to go through that and finish, a friend who was just a neighbor to me helped me to finish the hike, because she directed me wherever there was a thorn, wherever there was a stone, and I did it well and I reached the destination.
Surrounded with rocks, thorns, and I was like, do I quit? But I had to finish the race. So I'm happy for this day because it was a life challenge, and I know when I go out there, I will conquer the life. And I'm very happy for the people who even accompany us, especially the children who we were with. They are able to get this at a very tender age, and even as they grow, they know what to expect and how to go about it. And the best thing is never to quit. That's what I learned today, because at the end of it, I managed to finish the race. I came out sweating, but I was very happy because indeed I did it.
Come, let's talk about it. Let's see what to do. Sometimes just talking with someone helps. Now you see this man, it is very clear that this man was a very lonely man and he had no friends. How can you be at the pool for 38 years? And do you know what this means? When this man says, but I have no man to help me to put me in the pool, it means that the other lepers had friends. That's why for them, they were able to be put in the pool when the water was stirred up. For him, he was friendless. He didn't have a friend, a person. And maybe you're in that particular situation where you also have no friend to help. You feel like you are alone. You feel like no one can help with that situation. And maybe it has lasted a while. And like, but I don't think anyone can help me out of this. Today we are asking you, do you want help with a certain situation? Do you want us to talk about a situation and we see how to get out of it? Come, let's talk. I lived with a certain level of low self-esteem. And I kept back from many things because of how I was feeling about myself. When I grew and began to find who I was and began to understand what I am cut out for, who am I and what it is about me, I began to develop a hunger that every child should find themselves early. The things that us teenagers are struggling with are basically emotional things. And they don't know how to express this to either their parents or their peers or any other group of people. So sometimes they harbor a lot within. And when they harbor these emotions, these turn out to become defiant behavior, rebellious behavior. So they turn out to be who they are not because there is an internal struggle. So my heart for teenagers is that we will create a space, we will create room for teenagers to come and find themselves, to come and put down all the weights and just blossom. We wanted children to come out of their usual environments and come to our space, which we have so ably and intentionally created, that they may find themselves, that they may feel free to speak, that they may know that it's okay to talk. And that's just what we have been doing. They really had that hunger. They really had that hunger to have someone to talk to. Many of them had issues, but they really feared being judged because they will say, sometimes you'll be asking, have you shared with somebody? And they're like, no, I can't share with anybody because they will not be happy. And in the process, I realized that there's a big need. There's a yearning in their hearts to learn. There's a yearning to grow up to be the best. There's a yearning to really understand themselves. When we sat and reflected, we really saw the reason why God really wanted us to do this. Because when we did the camp, our theme, the main theme was beginning with the end in mind. And we had really a lot of discussions with the children. We had a lot of questions and answers where they were able to open up and share. You know, we were making it anonymous so that they were able to write their questions. We were able to respond to a number of the questions that they had. And again, we had the one-on-one sessions. And for me, I think this capped it all.
Parents who are here, please let's go and preach this gospel. At times it is not easy to put our own down. and help them grow healthy, both physically and spiritually. But when we bring them to such like camps, we actually achieve more than we would have done in our own homes. So I want to encourage parents, please plan for next year, and also take this as a chance to go and evangelize amongst our peers and let them know that rather than having these people watching cartoons in the house, let them go and share with their brothers and sisters, where it will not be formal learning, but it will be life skills that will help them grow.
Is this child able to know that after my dinner, I clear my plate, take my plate to wherever it needs to go to, or even wash it after I've taken it? Because that's what we've been doing here. And that will be a big achievement, because the world today, the children of nowadays are glued, they're all tech privy. I want to be with my tablet when I'm back home. I want to finish my homework so that I can watch my program. But are we going to have a child who, after getting home, I want to finish my homework so that I can study on something, so that I can study the Bible, so that I can clean up after myself? In as much as we have aunties and uncles watching over them who clean their clothes for them, are we going to have a child who is ready to do all that? Because we are trying to develop, when we say a holistic child, the word wholesome is as wholesome as it sounds. It's not just in the academics, it's not just in the upbringing, it's not just in the morality, it's not just in the values. It's in the collaboration of all those values put together. Then we say this child is now holistically built. So that is what I expect to see. A lot of changes. A child who didn't come to camp, when we open school, for example, I want to be able to identify the child who came for the camp and that did not. Because we are teaching them as well on how to take turns. We are asking questions and we are asking them to come and present what they've discussed from their group discussions. Are we going to have that child whom you ask that question in class and they are willing to stand up for the class and say, teacher, I think I can talk about that? Yes.
I want to call on you parents, whenever such programs that are going to help your children arise, we want you to respond, because it is for their good. For example, now we will be having annual camps. It has been decided. This one has been decided because of what we've just seen in this camp. But other programs are coming up. This has inspired us and motivated us to do other things that also can be throughout the year. So we will be reaching out to you. We'll be letting you know which programs are coming up. And lastly, parents, I want us all to know that you cannot raise a child alone. We need the wisdoms of different people. We need to share lessons. We need to learn from each other. So we have to be free to learn from each other.